Dear students, in this class, let us learn about electronic waste or e-waste. Electronic waste or e-waste means the electrical and electronic products intended to be discarded by their original users. There are two types of e-waste. One is category 1 of e-waste, which include discarded information technology and telecommunication equipment comprising computers of all kinds, cell phones, printers, calculators, copying equipment, telex systems, etc. The other category is category 2 of e-waste include discarded consumer electronics and electricals comprising refrigerators, microwave ovens, television set, air conditioners, washing machines, stereo sets, etc. or their parts. So e-waste is all such equipments having no useful life any further, and they can be damaged items or rejected from their manufacturing and repair processes or items which can be replaced. E-waste today constitute the fastest growing sector of municipal solid waste due to rapid growth of technology and frequent upgradation of technology. Data reveals that more than 50% of rejected computers in India are good working order, but they are discarded nonetheless to make way for the latest technology. That means most of the computers in India do not have any problem. Also, cell phones also do not have problem. They are discarded just for buying new and other sophisticated computers and cell phones. So these are the components of the e-waste. Laptops are monitors, personal electronic devices, mobile phones, televisions, audio video equipment, scanners, printers and copiers, mouse, keyboards and other electronic devices. All these come under the e-waste category. E-waste consists of iron and steel, which is 50%, plastics, which is 21%, non-ferrous metals like copper, aluminum, silver, gold, platinum, palladium, etc., which is 13%, and other constituents like glass, wood, plywood, printed circuit boards, ceramics, rubber, etc. E-waste also contain a wide range of hazardous components such as extremely toxic lead, cadmium, beryllium, mercury, chromium, barium, brominated flame retardants, and polychlorinated biphenyls. The fact that e-waste contains several valuable components such as precious metals and plastics that may be profitable to extract adds on the economical incentive to the processing of e-waste. A large part of the e-waste generated in Europe and American continents is sent to Asian countries such as China and India and to African countries like Nigeria and Ghana. Thus, the e-waste are disassembled by the economically backward classes in these countries using methods which are rudimentary in the quest for finding out valuable components from the e-waste. Now let us discuss what are the sources of e-waste. The sources of e-waste are mainly household items like PC, television, cell phones, washing machine, microwave oven, CD player, fan, electric iron, etc. And hospitals also use PC, monitors, microscope, ECG device, incubator, etc. And government establishments have PC, CPUs, Xerox machine, fax machine, scanner, air conditioners, tube light, fan, etc. And private sectors like restaurants, industries, etc. have PC, mixer, boilers, incubators, signal generators, etc. Now let us discuss what are the effects of e-waste on the environment or the hazards associated with e-waste components. E-waste affects the soil, air and water components of the environment. Emissions from e-waste can create environmental damage. Toxic chemicals from the e-waste enter the soil crop food pathway and there are non-biodegradable and also cause soil pollution. When e-gadgets and devices are disposed of improperly, the hazardous materials present in them have a high risk of polluting the air, soil, and water sources. The solder in printed circuit boards, gaskets, and glass panels of cathode ray tube monitors used in televisions and computers contain large amounts of lead. Exposure to lead can cause intellectual impairment in children and can damage the nervous, blood, renal system, liver system, and reproductive system in adults. Also, the circuit boards and semiconductors, rechargeable nickel cadmium batteries, and the cathode ray tube screens, printer inks and toners, printer drums or photocopying machines, etc. contain cadmium. Exposure to cadmium can produce several toxic, irreversible effects on human health. It affects lungs, kidney, etc., as well as causes anemia, bone marrow depression, and fracture of bones or the Itai disease which you have studied. The printed circuit boards, relays, switches, laptops, lighting devices for LCD display contain mercury. Exposure to mercury can lead to chronic damage of the central nervous system, kidneys, and immune system, as well as lead to respiratory and skin disorders and also can cause Minamata disease. Also, compounds of chromium used in the production of metal housings and galvanized steel plates can damage liver and kidneys and cause asthmatic bronchitis and lung cancer. Also, the barium present in the front panel of cathode ray tube screens can cause muscle weakness as well as damage to heart, liver and spleen even on a short-term exposure. Also, beryllium present in motherboards, circuit boards and laser printers can cause lung diseases including lung cancer and skin diseases like warts. The brominated flame retardants used in circuit boards, cables, condensers, and plastic casings do not degrade easily and build up in the environment. Long-term exposure can lead to impaired learning and memory functions and can interfere with thyroid and estrogen hormone functions. Exposure during the pregnancy period can be linked to behavioral problems in the babies born. So the element lead. Lead can cause serious diseases related to brain, kidney, reproductive system and entire nervous system. Chromium can cause asthmatic bronchitis and DNA damage. Cadmium can cause toxic irreversible effect on human health and accumulates in kidney and liver and causes liver damage. Mercury can also cause chronic damage to brain and respiratory system. Plastics including PVC causes burning. Burning can cause dioxin gas, which causes reproductive and developmental problems, immune system damage, etc. Now, how to dispose e-waste? The management of growing quantities of electronic waste, in addition to the burden of managing municipal waste, has emerged as one of the most important environmental problems of developing countries like India. There are different ways in which e-waste has been treated till date, but none has been found to be fully satisfactory. The first one is landfilling. The most common methodology of e-waste disposal has been storing e-waste in landfills. Trenches are made at the landfill site and the e-waste are buried in them. Landfilling is not an environmentally sound process for the disposal of e-waste because leaching of toxic waste like cadmium, lead, and mercury can pollute the soil and groundwater. Because of its hazardous nature, dumping in landfills has been banned in several developed countries like the US and the European countries. Second method that can be used is incineration. Incineration is the disposal of e-waste by burning at high temperature in specially designed incinerators. This e-waste disposal method is advantageous in the aspect that the waste volume is reduced very much and the energy obtained can be utilized separately. However, it has a significant disadvantage that the process releases toxic heavy metals like lead, mercury, and cadmium, as well as extremely dangerous and carcinogenic volatile organic compounds to the environment. Pyrolysis is also same as incineration. Now let us discuss recycling and reuse. Recycling process is a highly intricate process and goes through several steps. After an initial sorting of items, the step involves the labor-intensive process of manual dismantling. After separating the parts that can be reused, the remaining parts are taken through the steps of recycling, which may involve size reduction, magnetic separation into ferrous and non-ferrous materials, separation into metallic and non-metallic parts, and suitable methods characteristic of the type of waste being recycled. The plastic, metals, glass, etc. recovered during recycling are reused for the manufacture of fresh articles. Sophisticated e-waste recyclers are available in developed countries, whereas the method used are often crude and unsophisticated and illegal in developing countries. Recycling of e-waste through unregulated practices often creates additional hazards and may not have desired environmental benefits. Next one is reuse. Reuse constitutes either direct second-hand use of the original well-functioning e-equipment or their use after making slight modifications like memory upgrades. Here, the computers, laptops, printers, mobile phones, etc. of the first users are reused as second-hand products by other persons. For this, the old electronic equipment of the first user can either be sold or charitably donated to the persons in need. Reuse of the e-waste materials is the most desirable option in e-waste management because it increases the lifespan of the original product and therefore implies less waste over time. It is important that we create a national framework for the environmentally sound management of e-waste, including wide public awareness and education. Also, we should conduct detailed inventories of e-waste and initiate pilot schemes on collection and sorting of e-waste, including take-back schemes and schemes for repair and recycling. So the main step in e-waste control is reduce the use of electronic gadgets or just recycle it or reuse it. This is the uh, theory behind e-waste management. Okay, thank you.